Be careful. It's a terrifying thing. Don't get close. 18 years ago, we used to live in one of the neighborhoods on the outskirts of the city, and we had a modest house. This is an old story, guys. Just 18 years ago. I swear, every time I remember that house, I miss it. Even though we moved, I got married, and our lives changed. But guys, I remember that house and I miss it. Those were good times. The neighbors had good hearts. We were in a time without cell phones, internet, or any of this technology that has ruined human relationships. Imagine, if you needed something, you could knock on your neighbor's door and they would give it to you right away. We were not ashamed to go to our neighbors and ask for salt or tomatoes, and they would ask us for things and we would give them. And laughter and joy filled us all. Food would not come to one house without being distributed among all the neighbors. But now, even if you are in a house with food, you feel ashamed to go knock on the door and say you have bread. Technology showing off, and this bad civilization have made all the sweet bonds disappear. Neighbors don't know each other anymore. I swear by God, guys, we now live in a neighborhood where I don't even know most of the neighbors around us. I might meet them only at the mosque and greet them from afar. But the story I'm telling you is related to an event that happened those days. We were not living in the old house before 18 years. The group of good people. The first time we lived in this house, one day, we were surprised. We were children still playing football in the neighborhood. Our ages were around 13 or 12 years old. We were surprised to see a big car parked in one of the houses next to us. We then knew that this was our new neighbor, who bought the house and was starting to put the furniture. When the truck arrived, we started running with them, helping them, and forgetting everything. The best thing was that in the family there was a father named Abu Ayman, with his wife and his son and daughter. His son, Ayman, who was the same age as us, we met him right away. We all in the neighborhood got to know him. Even the boy studied with us at the same school. The days passed, and our relationship became strong. All the people in the neighborhood had a very strong relationship with our neighbor, Abu Ayman. He was a very social man, along with his wife and children. The people of the neighborhood used to visit them, and they used to visit us. Even I used to go to their house, sit with Ayman's son, and go up to the roof or to the bedroom. We used to have fun inside the house until one day I was playing with this boy named Ayman, but I asked him one question. I said, Ayman, I remember this house before you bought it. There were people living in it. These people left. Even without knowing where they went, they left. What I remember is that they had a secret door in the yard. The boy was excited about what I said and asked me, where is it? Where's the door? I told him, come, I'll show you. I took Ayman, and we went to the yard and I pointed to a strange door. Imagine, folks, this door wasn't just any door. Ayman's dad, Abu Ayman, was very strong, and he and his wife were sociable. Their kids were friends with everyone in the neighborhood. I used to go to their house to sit with Ayman, and sometimes we'd go up to his room. We had a great time inside the house until one day. I was playing with Ayman, and I asked him one question. Ayman, do you remember this house before they bought it? People used to live here. They left without us knowing where they went. What I remember is that they had a secret door in the yard. The boy was excited about what I said and asked me, where is it? Where's the door? I told him, come, I'll show you. I took Ayman, and we went to the yard and I pointed to a strange door. Imagine, folks, this door wasn't just any door. This is Ayman's dad, Abu Ayman, with his wife and their son and daughter. Ayman, who is our age, we met him right away. Everyone in the neighborhood knew him, and the boy studied with us in the same school. As time passed, our relationship grew stronger. Everyone in the neighborhood had a good relationship with our neighbor. It is on the wall or not. No. Door is on the ground. It's like a basement that you open from the courtyard between the gardens and the weeds that they have. As soon as Ayman saw it, he was shocked and said, imagine, we have been living here for a month now. The first time he noticed this door, I told him, I remember this door. I used to see it and always wonder where it leads. Ayman and I started to agree that we would try to have an adventure and open this door, but I was surprised the next day when Ayman met me at school and said, listen, Salman. Yesterday I went to my father
and told him that I want to open this door. Imagine. My father went crazy and started yelling. I don't know why, but my father told me that you were getting close to this door. When he bought the winding
House, the owner of the house told him not to open the basement because it leads to the sewers, and if you open it, all the sewers will overflow outside and cause problems between me and you guys. I didn't believe him and started to convince Eamon that all of this is lies. I told him, since your father forbade you from going, there must be a secret hidden there. Our childhood imagination started to create many things for us. Imagine, I convinced Eamon that we could open this place and find a treasure, or find strange animals imprisoned here. My friend shared the same ideas with me and had the same imagination. One night we decided that the pipe would travel to the capital for 2 days, and Eamon told me that this is the best time, especially since it coincides with the weekend, meaning there will be no study. I got permission from my parents and told them that I will spend the night at Eamon's. We planned to start our adventure as soon as his mother and sister fell asleep. We moved and took with us a light, and we knew the story of this basement. We sat down, Amin and I, laughing and joking, until around 10 o'clock in the evening. I'm not lying to you, I started feeling sleepy. Even Eamon felt sleepy like me. The strange thing is that his mother and father hadn't slept yet. Out of tiredness, we closed our eyes innocently like children, and we didn't feel anything. But imagine, around 1 o'clock after midnight, I started feeling like there was a voice trying to wake me up. It was saying, "Hey Salman, Salman, get up." I opened my eyes and found Eamon standing in front of me, asking me what had happened. We had agreed to go on an adventure that night, and I woke up not knowing how. Suddenly I woke up and found it was 1 o'clock after midnight. I said to my mother and sister I went to see them and found them asleep. Let's start the adventure, okay? Let's start the adventure. Imagine we took 2 small flashlights with us and started sneaking quietly, as if we were thieves inside the house. We went down and reached the courtyard. When we approached the ground floor door, we were surprised to find a very old small lock. Eamon said to me, "Oh boy, we didn't consider this lock. How do we break it? Don't worry about the lock. It's an old one called embark. Get me a piece of iron from the warehouse where your father parks the car." Indeed, Eamon brought me a piece of iron, and I immediately started pressing on the lock. As expected, it broke immediately. As soon as it broke, we opened the cover. I'm not lying to you. We felt terror and fear you can't imagine, especially when we shone the light into this opening. What was in front of us? A strange ladder, an iron ladder, leading underground. I was setting up the lights and heard Eamon saying, hey boy, what is this? Look at the light when we put it in the hole. It has no end. This ladder seems to lead underground. Yes, by God, my friend, this ladder goes far. The stone hit to the point that Eamon looked at me and said, "Listen to me, Salman. It seems that my father was honest. This hole has a disaster." A disaster? What disaster? What disaster, boy? Let's go down. No. Impossible. You're crazy. Now, we threw the stone. We don't know where it is. And imagine, folks, before completing the sentence, we were surprised by the sound of a strange stone hitting, as if it collided with metal pieces. Oh God, is it possible that the stone we threw, and now a full minute has passed? We reached this hall. This is impossible. A normal distance. This is a distance in kilometers underground. And imagine, folks, as soon as we heard the stone hit the iron, we heard a terrifying sound, as if a strange human or animal was in pain inside this hole. Immediately from fear and horror, Eamon closed the door, right away. The door to the opening. The ground, and he started telling me, "Come on, let's go back. Where are you going, kid? Let's see what's going on. What is this screaming? Listen to me. Advice, Salman. I'm not reassured. The stone, you crazy, has been sitting for more than 1/2 minute, because it means the hole is very far. You know, Salman, I remember in school the teacher used to say that those who live underground are demons. Yes, demons. Because in the depths of the earth, there is fire. You don't see where the volcanoes come from? From the depths of the earth, a huge raging fire. and the jinn and demons are from the fire, and that's their place. They are called the people of the underworld. It seems that we have opened a door for them. I'm not lying to you folks, even though I didn't believe in these things much. But what Eamon said made me feel fear and terror, and immediately we went back to the room, pretending to be normal. We threw ourselves on the bed and slept immediately. We woke up the next day, and I found my friend looking scared, and I was asking him, "Eamon, what's wrong with you? Since we woke up, I feel like you're confused." I swear, Salman, the situation and the sound we heard yesterday at the opening terrified me. Son of the good, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. How could you not be afraid? Explain to me. A stone we threw, and it sat for 1-2 minutes to reach. And then we heard as if it hit metallic pieces, and then the scary sound came out. This means there is something under the ground. Anyway, I'm going home because I got permission from my parents. And my mother. I just sleep at your place. Goodbye. I'm not lying to you. I left my friend's house, and as I was leaving towards the door, or rather towards the hole we opened yesterday, and I'm not lying to you, I felt a shiver that you can't imagine. I went back home and forgot about the story. But at night my mother held me on the side. I don't know why she was feeling anxious. She told me about what happened, all about the whole story, that my friend Ayman and I did. And imagine, my mother told me, "Listen, Salman, from now on, don't go to our neighbor's house." We especially hated that house. And all the people in the neighborhood hated it. Even our poor neighbor. When he bought it, we wished we had stopped him before. Why doesn't his mother know that we never passed by that house since we were young, even before you were born, and we lived here, Salman? You know, there are a lot of people who lived in that house, and those people used to disappear. Yes, those people would disappear overnight, even though they knew the whole neighborhood. But we didn't know what was happening. And imagine, I thought my mother was telling me a scary story. But as I reached the neighborhood, I was surprised that Aman's father, our neighbor, had returned from the capital. I greeted him, and then I started asking myself, should I tell the story or not? But I thought it's better not to tell him. He might get upset with me. Days passed, but after about a week, I was surprised that Eamon stopped coming to school. Days passed, and I started feeling worried, and I said I have to. Go ask about him at home. Maybe the boy is sick or something. But as soon as I arrived, I knocked on the door once, twice, 3 times, and no one answered at all. The strange thing is that their car was parked by the door. What happened? And imagine, after 5 days, all the people in the neighborhood started to disappear. They felt anxious when Abu Ayman and his family were missing from the mosque. The strange thing was that their car was parked at the door, indicating that they were inside their house. The whole neighborhood knocked on the door once, twice, and 3 times, but unfortunately there was no response. We had to call the police, and they brought a police team. We were afraid that something might have happened to the neighbors. The police had to break the door and search inside. To our surprise, everything inside the house was normal. Their clothes, belongings, and even their food. It seemed like they had breakfast at least 3 or 4 days ago, but nothing was arranged. The only strange thing in the house was the absence of their photos. The police searched everywhere but found nothing. They started contacting many people who were expected to have a connection with our neighbor Abu Ayman, but unfortunately everyone said they hadn't seen him at all. Imagine. This became a very strange mystery. I heard one of the police officers saying to my parents, "By God, this family's disappearance is very strange. They vanished, as you can see, their belongings and food, as if the ground split open and swallowed them." When I heard the sentence, I felt terrified because I remembered something scary. Yes, since he said the ground split open and swallowed them, could it be related to the hole in the courtyard, the underground door that my friend Eamon and I opened? At that moment, I ran and grabbed my father and also caught the police officer. I started telling them, Guys, I have a story that might be related to the disappearance of our neighbors." The police officer and my parents were interested until the neighbors heard me telling the whole story of my adventure with my friend Ayman, and how we opened the underground door and how we heard a voice, and the story of the stone that took more than half a minute to reach the depth. The policeman asked me to show him the place, and indeed I told them to come. I will show you the door located here in the yard. But as soon as we turned and reached the area where the door was supposed to be, Imagine, folks, the door was nowhere to be found. It was just natural sandy ground with some crops on it. I swore to them that the door was here, but they laughed. Out of respect for my father and some neighbors, they wanted to dig in this place, but there was nothing there at that time. The policeman heard him telling my father, "It's not a problem, Abu Salman. It seems we wasted our time. We shouldn't listen to children because you know how imaginative they can be. Let's go, brothers. I'm going back to the police station." And indeed, folks, the police returned to the station, my father to our house, and the neighbors each went to their own homes. Except me, folks. I'm sitting here asking myself, what happened to our neighbors? Where are they? What happened to them? And why did they disappear like this? A whole year passed, and this house is still a mystery. I feel fear. I feel anxious. Where did Eamon, his father, mother, and sister go? They disappeared suddenly, and there was no trace of them. What happened, folks? What's the story of this house? Now I'm starting to believe the words my mother used to say, that this house indeed has many stories. Even when I asked many elders in the neighborhood, they used to tell me that every neighbor, he used to live here, not completing a month or two without disappearing in the same way, but at least the people who disappeared before him used to disappear, and everything disappeared with them, except our neighbor Abu Ayman. The days passed, and a whole year passed, and one night I was buying some things from the grocery store and returning to our house. As soon as I got close to Abu Ayman's house, I started to see something scary, one of the windows on the second floor. This window, the window of Ayman's room, where I used to sleep with him, and there was something scary, guys. Ayman was standing by the window, as if he was watching me, but he was watching me with fear and horror. Can you imagine this? Subscribe Eerie Enigmas channel on YouTube?